there, friends and neighbors. This is me, Stella Hendricks. Thanks so much for coming back to my channel. We are gonna do part 3 now? Wall Street Joyride by Mark Yagala. The story about his interactions with the fascinating Miss Sandy Bentley. She is like the coolest bitch I ever heard of in my life. The more I read this book, the more I think, holy shit, she's the best. Okay. As always, take it with just a grain of salt and all that stuff. We're not sure exactly how reliable a narrator this gentleman is. So, I mean, not gentleman, this dude. Chapter 16, Trouble in Paradise. If there hadn't been women, we'd still be squatting in a cave eating raw meat because we made civilization in order to impress our girlfriends. Or did we make civilization in order to confine our girlfriends is rather my suspicion about civilization and religion, but that's okay. We're not talking about my opinions, are we? Oh wait, we are. This is my channel where I tell my opinion about everything. Okay. After only a few months of dating, Sandy started making issues about my glasses. She didn't like them and said that I looked nerdy. She said she wanted me to get LASIK eye surgery. I looked into it with the Collins and found a top eye doctor in Delaware to perform the procedure. It was an in and out procedure, but I couldn't drive. You see this? You guys are my witness. When she comes in, she can't just walk in. She must throw open the door with great grandeur. This is the second time now, my love. Do you want to stay in here with me? You're not even staying here? You're leaving? Do you see what I have to put up with? I'm just gonna leave it open now, okay? Because now you're just gonna do this the whole time, huh? Lulu. Her name is Stella Luna Kimberly. Okay. Hey, he's getting LASIK eye surgery. She said, I asked her to come to Delaware so I could get the procedure done. She said she couldn't because of school and Hef. Lorraine Collins took care of me instead, but it didn't go over too well with her that Sandy wanted me to get the surgery, but then wasn't there for the surgery. It was another sign of more problems to come, but I still wasn't paying attention. I was too infatuated to notice something wasn't right with my dream girl. As the Thanksgiving and Christmas holidays approached, more problems started to come to the surface regarding her commitments to Playboy and her relationship with Hef. What Sandy and Mandy were after most was to be in the magazine. After all, that's the only reason to be with Hef. The $1,000 weekly allowance that he gave each girlfriend was not enough for most girls in Beverly Hills, and a lot of shit came along with being with Hef. The nightly check-in calls were the worst. All he did was complain about where the girls were, what were they doing, and why weren't they with him. He was probably one of the most pathetic individuals I had ever witnessed. What 75-year-old man complains to a 20-year-old girl about what she's doing? My dude. My grandfather was the same age as Hef, and he didn't have to whine to my grandmother. My grandparents were married for over 60 years and died within 5 months of each other. That's true love. I don't think Hef has ever known true love, and unfortunately never will. Love is just something you cannot buy. Please, Mark Yagala, please, Mark Yagala, please tell me more about the true nature of love. I would love to hear more about this guy who's written an entire book of revenge porn and pointlessness. Tell me about the secrets of achieving true love. Mark Yagala. This is too much fun. Okay. Hef was able to stretch out their relationship with Sandy and Mandy because he hadn't put them in the magazine yet. Hef promised them that the photo shoot would happen after the New Year, but first he wanted them at the mansion for all the holidays, Thanksgiving, Christmas, and New Year's. This is when playmates past, present, and future would descend on the mansion for free food and drinks. It would be alright if Hef was footing the bill for this himself, but in 1999 and 2000, Playboy was a publicly traded corporation. Oh yeah, now he's gonna bitch that Hef might have been using funds for these parties differently than Mark would have. This guy, by the way, who went to prison for multiple years for a Ponzi scheme where he cheated old people out of their life savings, like many Wall Street assholes do. It's incredible that he wants to preach to us in this book, this revenge porn book. He wants to preach to us about pure love or true love and pure ethics. Wow. Wow. Wow, my dude. Wow. Fucking wow. Blah, 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 blah. Business, boring stuff. However, Hef was never focused on the business side of things. Because the twins would have to be at the mansion for the holidays, it meant that Sandy and I weren't going to get to spend the holidays together. To make up for this, we decided to celebrate Christmas early. I took Sandy, Mandy, Jessica, and Mandy's boyfriend Dave to the Bahamas as a pre-Christmas celebration. I went all out, not just for the trip, but for Christmas as well. In the Bahamas, Sandy and I had the bridge suite at the Atlantis, which connects the two towers and costs $25,000 a night. I also got a suite for Mandy and Dave and a room for Jessica. Since I had 1 million line of credit at the Atlantis, all the rooms were comped. There is a casino in Reno, Nevada called the Atlantis, but I suspect that this is a different one. It does have a cool bridge though. Now that I'm thinking about it, it has a bridge that leads, the one in Reno, it has a bridge that leads from the parking lot across Virginia Street, which is like the big street in Reno, over to the casino of the Atlantis. And I'm pretty sure there's a very delicious sushi bar in there. How fascinating. Maybe it is like the same like chain or something. I don't know. I will find out. Okay. I also chartered the same yacht that Tishara and I stayed on our first weekend together. This was a stupid decision and a waste of over $60,000. Sandy didn't want to stay on the boat, and that's why we had the rooms at the Atlantis. Who wouldn't want to stay on an 125 yacht with a full crew? Yeah, oh yeah, a spoiled girl that calls herself Princess. We only went out on the boat once. It stayed in the harbor the rest of the time, and mostly we ate in the restaurants or ordered room service. One night we were supposed to have dinner on the yacht, and the chef made an elaborate meal. Sandy changed her mind at the last minute and left the crew with a full meal and no guests to serve. I felt bad and gave the crew a $5,000 tip. Sandy really treated people like they didn't exist, but I was trapped. Trapped, you guys. I had invested so much money in her that I felt like I couldn't walk away. Yeah, my dude, because this is definitely a good investment of that money. What the hell? Like, how did... I can tell that he's a Ponzi scheme guy and definitely not like a business guy, because there's not one even like kind of shitty businessman who would make these kind of decisions. How he managed to even get to that millionaire status is like mystifying to me. It's like straight up con man status, you know? Maybe that is exactly what it is, you know? Who knows? This is all my opinion. Lots of my opinion in here. Lots of excerpt reading and lots of opinion, okay? Speaking of room service, there's nothing worse than having 3 girls together in a hotel that are bulimic. They'll order everything off the menu and then puke it all up. The only good thing was that all the food was comped, so at least I didn't have to pick up the service bill, which ran over $1,000 each time Sandy ordered. That is the commentary you make about your girlfriend's eating disorder. Your dream girl, the woman, your love of your life. Oh, I loved her so much. I invested so much in her. I just couldn't walk away from her. I loved her so much. She has a severe eating disorder. Oh God, it was so irritating. It used to cost so much money. What? Oh God, this guy is just like, this is such a fascinating fucking reality TV show. He was a guy, would have been a great reality TV star. The drama in this book is second to none, I assure you. This I can guarantee. The trip was like any other at a casino with Sandy. She loved to gamble. She lived the high roller life and loved to be the center of attention. She totally reminds me of Ginger on Casino. One of my favorite books. She especially liked when we sat down to gamble, and I'd take a marker for $1 million. She loved seeing all those chips in front of us. Whether I won or lost, she didn't care. She would still want to visit the jewelry shop outside the casino. You know why? Because whether you won or lost, she was still giving you sex, and she still expected to be paid. Good for her. She usually found a piece of jewelry she liked for $100,000, and I was dumb enough to buy it for her. There are many billionaires who wouldn't have done what I did, but I just didn't know any better. Things were moving so fast that I couldn't bring it to a stop. I'd have to crash in order for that to happen. This is a paid girlfriend. And she's just sucking the life out of it. It's incredible. I only judge him, no judgment for Sandy. Good for you, Sandy. This is a fascinating book. Okay. On this trip, though, I really defined the meaning of high roller. I had the top suite in the place, a yacht parked out back, and $1 million line of credit. The Atlantis was not as generous with their lines of credit at their table limits as the Vegas and Atlantic City casinos. I gambled with New York real estate developer Louis Capelli, and he couldn't figure out why I was able to pay $50,000 a hand when he was capped at $35,000. I also had him beat in the women department as Sandy blew away his girlfriend. At the end of the trip, Dave, Mandy, Jessica, and Sandy bought a picture book and all signed it, thanking me. Mandy was just as delirious as her sister Sandy. She signed it Superstar. Remember, Sandy is Princess and Mandy is Superstar. They said they were grateful, but they were all just fucking leeches. I even thought Dave liked me, but he turned out to be just one of those that finds a meal ticket and goes along for the ride. He's still doing it today and riding on Connor Cruises, the 19-year-old son of Tom Cruise's coattails. Another downside to traveling with Sandy was that she had no respect for anyone else, says this clearly very respectful gentleman. Pilots are given a schedule and told when to be at the airport. Sandy was on Sandy time and would show up when she was good and ready. She never cared that people were waiting for her. It did pay off for us on this trip, though. On the way back to the US, we left late because of Sandy and stopped in North Carolina to clear customs. On our customs declaration forms, we wrote that we purchased nothing over $10,000. We didn't declare that there was a $100,000 diamond necklace, $50,000 bracelet, and new Rolexes for Sandy and Mandy sitting on the plane. I even bought some jewelry for Mandy because Dave couldn't afford it and Mandy wanted it. Tell me more about what a sucker Hef is, Mark. That part was fun. The customs official just looked at us and said, "You mean to tell me you're flying in tonight on a Gulfstream jet from the Bahamas and you did no shopping?" "That's correct, ma'am," was all I could say. If it wasn't 1 o'clock in the morning, I'd tear that plane apart. Luckily for you, I'm too tired. Now get out of here. I seriously doubt that. I almost guarantee he paid this person off. In my opinion, allegedly, that's what I think. That was closed, but who declares what they brought overseas? I didn't know anyone coming into the US that fills out the form and declares that they bought hundreds of thousands in jewelry. For all they knew, we had it when we left the country. The Mark from Pennsylvania always did things the right way growing up. Now I cut corners wherever I could. I didn't care. After we left North Carolina, we headed to New York. I had to pick up Sandy's Christmas presents from John the jeweler and had a surprise for her in store in New Jersey. The first big Christmas present for Sandy was an exact copy of the jewelry collection in the movie Pretty Woman. Oh yeah, I'd heard that. I had John the jeweler make the same necklace with matching earrings and bracelet. The whole set cost $250,000. The second surprise for Sandy was the new helicopter I bought. Floyd convinced me that I was flying so much that I needed to get the new Bell 407 helicopter that had just come out. It cost me $1.6 million. Luckily, I only had to pay $300,000 down and I got a GE Capital to finance the rest. Blah, 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 boring money. I got it straight off the factory floor and gave it my own tail number. N969SB. Yep, I'm a pervert. The tail number came from the sexual position 69, and my girlfriend, Sandy Bentley, was the SP. I thought it was pretty cute and funny. Sandy didn't like it and had me change it to something that made it seem like I wasn't a fucking 12-year-old moron. Aw, how sad for you. It cost me money to change it, but with everything involving Sandy, it always cost me money. So sad for you. But that wasn't to say Sandy wasn't impressed. It was a beautiful helicopter and had enough room to take us all to some fucking place. Sandy had told me that she always wanted a white Bentley convertible with a beige top and interior. Well, luckily they had one in stock. Before we landed, I blindfolded Sandy so she couldn't see the car waiting for us. When I took the blindfold off, she was ecstatic. The car cost me a whole bunch of money. I'm so tired of him saying exactly how much things cost, and there's $50 million missing. He knows exactly where they are, in my opinion. At the dealership, Sandy made notes as to how she would sign her name, Sandy Yagala or Sandy Bentley Yagala. It was enough for me to put everything behind us and move forward. I was pretty happy. However, it wouldn't last long. Since I didn't have Sandy for Christmas, I went home to spend it with my parents and grandparents. The day after, I hopped on the Gulfstream jet and headed to Florida for some rest and relaxation. Once there, all my friends gave me shit about Sandy. Eddie, Rita, and Freddie said she was using me. They said she should have been with me for the holidays. Eddie was definitely the harshest. He had grown to hate Sandy. The feeling was mutual. Sandy disliked Eddie as well. Eddie would later tell Philadelphia Magazine that Sandy hated him because Eddie would put ideas in my head and that Sandy had to fuck me to keep me more happy, and she didn't like that. What? That's not a very good... What? I don't understand that sentence. Whatever. In all honesty, what he said was true. Eddie was just trying to look out for me. For Sandy to get me back under control, she would have to fuck me, and then I'd be happy again and forget what we were fighting about. You may have heard of a love-hate relationship. Well, we had a sex-hate relationship. In Florida, I had had enough of it. It was too much for me to deal with. I ended it with Sandy. It really hit home for her when she went to use the American Express card and it was declined. When they called, she found out the card was canceled. To console my sorrows, I fell into the arms of Rita. She wasn't having any luck in the romance department either, so it worked out for both of us. I had decided to take her to Lake Tahoe for New Year's. That would be fun. I love Lake Tahoe. I used to live there. Okay. We all went to see Brooks and Dunn in concert. Oh my God, I love country stuff. Go away, this stupid thing. Oof. Sorry, I was getting this annoying notification kept popping up. We all went to see Brooks and Dunn in concert, and then afterwards around 2 a.m. I got a call from Sandy. I'm sorry, will you come get me? Yeah, princess, I'll come get you in the morning. Thanks, I love you, she said. That was enough for me. I sent Glenn a message and told him to have the plane ready in the morning. We were going to LA to get Sandy. I called CLS and told them to send AJ, Sandy's usual driver, to the Playboy Mansion and to take her to Van Nuys Airport. When I met Sandy at the airport, she got on a plane and we didn't say anything at first. She just sat in her usual seat next to me. We were separated by the aisle of the plane. I always sat on the left facing the cockpit and she on the right. I figured I'd have to break the ice. So we're going back to Vegas to get my stuff, right? You said if we broke up that I could get all my stuff back. I guess threatening to take all my shit back was the straw that broke the camel's back. Sandy just started crying. She came over and sat on my lap and started hugging and kissing me, saying, I'm sorry, I won't do it again. That was enough for me. That's all I needed to hear. Where are we heading? I asked her. Let's go to my apartment, she said. Your apartment? Yes. We never stayed at Sandy's apartment. She was a weird girl. She wanted her private space. I also thought she would much rather stay in one of the suites at the casinos and be pampered. For me, I didn't care. As long as I was with her, I was happy. Yeah, and as long as she's giving you all the sex you can demand, sex on tap, that's what the Brits call it, right? When we landed, a limo was waiting to take us to her apartment. There, we had incredible makeup sex. That was the best part about fighting with Sandy. The makeup sex kept getting better and better. No one could tell me anything about Sandy. She might have been beautiful, but there wasn't much to like about about her outside the person. To me, she was princess, but to everyone else, she was ice princess, cold and heartless. Sandy didn't really care much for other people. The 1 week breakup with Sandy ended up getting her rewarded again. After all the extravagant Christmas presents, I bought Sandy a new Ferrari 355 Spider convertible just like mine. When I had it delivered in Vegas, Sandy saw me drive it up to her apartment. She thought I had shipped my car out. When she looked closer, she saw the new sticker inside and shrieked with joy. Sandy was still on her general rule of 3, but I was getting lots of sex all the time, and I was getting more demanding and turning into an even bigger asshole. As another reward, I took Sandy to Switzerland. I had some business to discuss with my banker, Joe. Wasn't there a jeweler Joe earlier? Now there's banker Joe. I needed to spend some of the money I had stashed in Switzerland anyway. I had millions in cash, and it was just sitting there. I figured I might as well spend some of it on my expensive girlfriend. Going over was first class all the way. Our pilot Glenn picked up Sandy in Vegas, and she met me in New York. The next day, Sandy and I took the British Airways Concorde from JFK to London. Blah, 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 we're flying around, very boring. Sandy had brought 10 bags of luggage. Joe had to order another car just to take Sandy's luggage. After that, I could then add Joe to the list of people that didn't like Sandy. St. Moritz and Switzerland in general is one of the prettiest places in the world. It's so clean and everything just works. The hotel was 5 stars and Sandy loved the shopping. She bought fur coats, ski suits, and of course jewelry with my Swiss francs. A bag full of cash around Sandy didn't last long no matter how much was in there. The more she had, the more she spent. The ski suits were a waste of money. She just wanted the suits so she could get pictures of her taken on one of the skis to show her friends. She had no interest in going skiing. Why? Weird. That's the weirdest. People who are like that are weird. Why are you pretending to go skiing? If you don't like skiing, don't go to fucking Switzerland. To the ski resort. What? I don't know, okay. Besides shopping, Sandy liked the horse-drawn sleigh ride that served as our taxi. Oh, that's cute. St. Moritz was an interesting experience for Sandy and me. And then they have sex and she cries, I guess, which sounds like a not true story to me. So I don't know why it's in here. Maybe he really wants us all to think that secretly she was in love with him. I don't know. It's kind of a really weird, out of place revenge porn story that he throws in here for no reason. Okay. She just cried and fell asleep in my arms. I really didn't know what to make of what she said. Maybe she was right. I figured I'd wait and discuss it further in the morning. When I awoke, Sandy was in the bathroom getting ready. Good morning, princess. Are you okay? Yes, I'm fine. No worries. Are we heading to Zurich today? She totally acted like nothing happened. It was like Jekyll and Hyde. I should have run just then and there, but stupid me was so happy everything was okay. I had the plane come to the St. Moritz airport to take us to Zurich. I didn't want to deal with 2 cars again, except for when we landed. That night we met Joe and his wife for dinner. Joe was very polished and sophisticated. He spoke English, German, French, Italian, and a few others I can't remember. He's been all over the world, and one thing he knows is food and wine. Whenever I've gone to dinner with Joe, I always let him order. He could pick the best wines and pair them with different courses. Well, that didn't go over well with Sandy. She asked for pious porter. Joe said, "Why do you want that shit?" I almost died. Sandy was speechless. All she could mutter was, "I like it." Joe said, "I'll order some good stuff. Try what I order, but we'll also get a bottle of pious porter for you." Joe did make peace, but they didn't like each other. Joe thought she was too high maintenance and couldn't get over the fact that she came with 10 pieces of luggage, all Louis Vuitton. Joe was right. The trip was only for a few days and she didn't need that amount of luggage. The worst part was I actually had to buy her more Louis Vuitton luggage in Switzerland to take back the clothes that she had bought. She was a nightmare of a girlfriend. Everyone saw it but me. Sandy did get along with Joe's wife, which was a good thing. She was a wonderful lady, and she and Sandy actually danced together at a nightclub after we all went to dinner. I had wished Sandy wasn't the way she was and could have made a better impression on Joe. I had a lot of respect for him and his opinion. Anything regarding Sandy went in one ear and out the other. Sandy and I left Switzerland in the same way we came in. We took the plane to Heathrow and hopped on board the Concorde back to the U.S. Was at JFK. Glenn was waiting with the Gulfstream. At the tarmac at JFK, we were escorted to customs first and then the plane. It was good. Oh, wait. To the plane. I needed to get back to work, and Sandy needed to shoot her pictorial for Playboy. It was good that Hef didn't suspect anything because he probably would have killed the pictorial. I guess what they say is true. There's no fool like an old fool, except in my case. I don't think I could give any old fool, I think I could give any old fool a run for his money. Oh, good. I'm glad that you admit that at least. Okay. Well, I'm definitely gonna give you brownie points for that one. I did not think you had that much insight, dear author of this book. All right, cool. Here we are at the time marker again. That's gonna be it for today. I'll try to do this again like next week or something, and we'll get all the way through there. I guess I don't have anything else to add to that because I just sort of said everything I wanted to say while I was reading it. So thanks very much for stopping by, friends and neighbors, and don't do anything I wouldn't do, and I'd catch you on the flip side.